Oh wow, it actually tells you too. There you
Yeah,
go.
awesome. But yeah, thanks for joining, John. So let's
Yes.
go get started. So this is our first class, first week. So this is the orientation and introduction for the
Okay.
life coaching training, biblical life coach school. So, but yeah, welcome. And this week one is just us getting acquainted with each other and with coaching, and then
Okay.
just introduction to what is coaching. We'll dive into a little bit of that, and then we'll talk about the telling myth as well. And so it's something we all fall into, is the telling myth. We'll talk about that. But
Okay.
yeah, before we get started, I know we talked before, but just
Hmm.
a brief introduction of yourself. So briefly, share a little about yourself and why you want to learn about coaching.
Okay. Sure. My name's John Wall. I live in East Texas, over by Shreveport, in a small little tiny town. 14,000 people. So they're very super religious over here. Um, I've always been in any job that I've had is always been in a sort of training type of position. I did training for Disney with sales and leadership. My current role, I am not a trainer. I actually do two different jobs. I was a private investigator, hung that hat up about 2 years ago, and took a job with Teladoc, and I'm in their member support team, figuring I would be able to get into training and coaching on a more consistent basis with them. That didn't happen. So now I'm reevaluating what I want to do and go back to my passion of training and helping people and going into that general direction.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, John.
Yeah.
Yes, you on an awesome journey, man. Awesome journey. Yeah.
I've been all over the place, man. All over the
Yeah.
place, work and
Oh
all
yeah.
that kind of stuff. So I done, a friend of mine's a pastor, and we were talking,
Hmm.
and he's like, "Do you realize like every job you've ever had has always been training? It's like, oh, because you connect to people. Like any job you connect, it's like it's like you turn into a chameleon and like fit that mold, you
Yep.
know." And I was because we were talking about one of the serves I had last night was a lady who basically abused her children, and she's
Mm,
a meth head.
mm,
So the attorney sends me notes, and he's like, "Hey, this is going to be a really rough one," and he's like, "Be careful, bring your gun," and just starts listing everything. I'm like, "Okay." I go, and it was like in and out. It was just like, "Are you?" Yes, bam, boom, out, no problem. Usually
right.
when they're like, "Hey, this is going to be an easy one," those are the hard ones. So I
Mhm.
was like super prepped. But he's like, you connect with those people. They don't question. You just go in and do your thing. And he goes, "You've always been like that." This guy's known me for, oh my God, 22 years. And he's like, every job, anything you've ever done has always just been your connection. It's how you connect to people. It's crazy.
Wow. That's awesome. We get professions where our sometimes our calling is there. The things we get pulled towards,
Hmm.
uh, and so that's part of your call. Like you said, you've always been like a trainer, no matter where you went, and that's just pouring into people, and you just have that in you.
Yeah, it's weird.
You
Like,
just
and he's like, you got to rack.
next to it.
Yeah, he's like, you just don't realize it. He's like, that's your gift. And he's like, it's always been like that. I taught college for a while. I then, ran a business where I literally counsel people who've lost a family member, whether it's through
Mm,
suicide or unattended death, and cleaned it up for them. But I'm sitting
mm,
there counseling these people, like, and working with them. And that's what was so fulfilling, working with first responders and working with people who needed that help. So,
mm,
and I miss that. Like in this job, I'm telling you, it is the same thing over and over. I can't do it. I just can't
mm.
that much longer. But I need the benefits. So, you
Yeah.
know, my
Yep.
job is pretty cool. I'm start at 6:15. I'm done at 2:45. So I still have the rest of the day to do whatever I need to do. So I figure I can use this and then help people after work and after school and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah, that's hence the plan.
Awesome. Are you able to share your camera or no?
Let's see. It has a line on it. Hold on. Oh, okay. I thought you were controlling it.
Oh, there
There,
you go.
there you go.
Oh,
I
there
was
you
like,
go. Okay.
okay, because I know
Oh,
like sometimes when you join them, they're like you control them and you can turn them off and on and all that.
oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna touch your camera. No, if you want to turn your camera on, you turn it on.
No worries, no
I
worries.
don't want that control.
Too much control.
Uh-huh. But now it makes that, communication better, when we see each other. So
Yeah,
it's a
we
lot
had
better.
we had a training class yesterday. I'm doing. If you ever done Dale Carnegie's Ignite
Oh
the
yeah. Yep.
Leadership, okay,
Yep.
so I'm doing that. So we were talking about, everyone's like, well, do we really have to put our what's it called, our cameras on? She's like, do you
Uh-huh.
understand that like we work remote? She's like, how else are you going to get connected to somebody? And everyone's like, we don't want to. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'm so sorry because the whole day it's like, oh, but yeah, we don't keep our cameras on at work unless we have to. So
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we were
I've
talking.
been in the corporate world, in the corporate world, you just shared if we have to. You have those managers that want to share the camera, and
Mm-hmm.
a
And yeah,
lot
but
of
what I was just
a lot of engineers do not share their camera. Engineers, developers, all that
nope,
type.
they just went left
Uh,
alone. I'm the same mentality, they're like, can you put yourself on camera? I'm like, fine.
yep. Yep.
Urgently, fine, fine. So
Yep.
I get it. Uh-huh.
Yep. All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's
We'll
see.
do.
All right. And just introduction of myself. Uh, so yeah, Julia Starworth. And so just been doing this for so at least 3 years, about 3 years now, been doing
Mm-hmm.
this. But this organization I partner with, Life Breakthrough Academy, they've been doing this since 2009, and that's where this curriculum is coming from, and that I'm presenting to you. It's a
Okay.
partnership with them, um, and so the school has trained students from over 60 countries. It has founded. It was founded for the purpose of equipping faith-based coaching to be able to help people sustain real growth and change. Um, the curriculum is both formational and transformational. It is easy to understand and very practical to implement. And so it's been around for a while. A lot of good biblical roots in this program. So looking
Okay.
forward looking forward to what it does for you.
We'll
Very
see.
much.
Here we go.
All right, student portal. And so now you say you logged into the student portal. So in there you have the class notes and worksheets in
Mm-hmm.
there.
I printed
From
the class note. Yeah, I saw that.
Awesome, awesome. And then so the homework is mandatory that we have. So yeah. So you do those. And like I said, you can catch up. You miss a week, there's grace as well, just to, catch up and everything as well. So if you miss a week, but you start missing 2 weeks, it gets kind of hard, to catch up and everything.
Yes,
So
sir.
missing 1 week, that's okay. But yeah, just catching up you'll be fine. You'll be fine after missing 1 week. But yeah, and then yeah, links to edible worksheets and other forums are located in the week 10 tab.
Okay. Let's see. Put that there. Let's see. Ten
Okay,
tab.
and then
Oh, I see.
I'll send email. Okay, you see them?
Yeah, business and marketing. Yeah.
Yep, yep. And so you'll get email reminders just about class coming up.
Okay.
I'll at least I'll at least do it 24 hours before, just to remind you, like, hey, we got class tomorrow. See you
Okay.
tomorrow.
We got you.
And then office hours. So if you want to set up some time with me, just let me know. Just email me. Let me know. So 9 to 7 p.m. Tuesdays, Thursdays. Uh,
Okay.
just let me. And then really, I mean, Tuesday, it could be outside of those days too. It's just as needed. Just let me know. Just reach out if you need anything.
Okay. We'll do.
But yeah, class. And then this part right here, this is just talking about like during class, trying to eliminate background noise. So trying to, find a quiet place, which you're in now. Seems good. It's important that our concentration is not hindered by background noises. So arrange, a quiet place. Being punctual. And I know you were here, looked like you were here like 5 minutes before. So that was great.
Yes,
So being
sir.
punctual and courteous. So please conduct yourself in a professional manner. Try to always be on time and have class notes already printed out, which you do. And I'll try to be here, and my goal is to be here at least 10 minutes before. Like we had the music playing, I at least had the music playing 10 minutes before class, so you just could join in and then step away from the computer if we need to.
Okay.
Um, but my goal, I want to start. I'll start class right on time, right at 6. We'll get started.
Okay.
I don't want to waste any of your time, man. Don't waste any of your time. And
Yeah, I
yeah.
appreciate it.
But yeah, feel free to ask questions. So I want this to be like an ultimate, engagement as possible. So if you have any question, any comment, like as I'm going through the slides, You
Okay.
know, talk back to me, and I'm gonna ask you questions throughout too, so you can be engaged, and that's the best form of learning, when you're engaged and talking back. Well, yeah, frequent questions are encouraged, so try to get comfortable speaking up. Uh, and like I mentioned, homework is required. All homework assignments are required and are part of your learning experience. You may be asked about homework in class.
There you go.
Yep. All right. And then also, so with this accreditation, those are accredited certification. So with this certification, you have to do 2 practice coaching scenarios. And so you'll turn those in before week 10. And you'll start working on this by week 3. So don't worry about it right now.
Oh,
I'll talk about it at week 3 when we get there even more. But you should begin doing some practice coaching after week 3. It doesn't have to be a paying client, but preferably not a family member. So like a colleague or a friend, somebody like that. It also doesn't have to be in person. It could be by phone or by Zoom. Either way. But you'll record the session down kind of like this, and you could have like a so there's people that they have the discussion with your coaching. You have your coaching session, and
mm-hmm.
then you could write it down afterwards, or you could write down as the person's going through it. Uh you could let them know like, hey, I'm going to record this, and
So I can
then
transcribe it like that.
transcribe it. Yeah, yeah.
All right,
So
cool.
we'll get to those details by week 3, so you'll be comfortable and you'll know how to do it. But this is an example of what somebody turned in right here. And then the red is the academy. So we send your coaching scenarios to the academy, and they give you back corrections and just feedback and everything as well. So
Gotcha.
okay, and then here, but yeah, the exam is so you have an exam at week 10.
Okay.
After week 10, you have an exam. So the exam is essay style. This test doesn't require long answers. It is basically a review of the course. But yeah, not looking for perfection, but looking for excellence, for
Mm-hmm.
excellent. You may have up to 3 weeks to complete your exam, and you may use your books and class notes for help. And so throughout, as I go through the slides, I'll let you know, like, hey, take note of this. This is going to be on the test, so
Gotcha.
you'll be aware. So I'll let you know throughout. You can take screenshots, whatever, or circle it on your notes. Uh, and then before you can be considered for certification, you need to turn in those 2 practice coaching scenarios. So that's why you have those 7 weeks to turn those 2 scenarios in.
Oh, okay. I
Uh,
gotcha.
yeah. And then credential options are either so you could, on your certification, it could say certified life breakthrough coach or certified biblical life coach. So whichever title you want to have on your certification, you choose which one
In essence, the
by the time we get there.
thing.
Yeah, yeah. It just depends on how you want to
Okay.
title it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know a lot of people, so I know I did certified life coach on mine. Yeah, that's what a lot of people choose, is that one. So it's a lot clearer on what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's either one. Either one. Okay, so hopping into what is coaching. So taking clients from where they are to where they desire to go, helping to facilitate growth and change by taking action. A process for change that asks clients very strategic questions versus telling them or giving them advice. Coaches build towards the future like an architect versus being focused on the past and digging up things like archaeologists. So the big thing here is, if someone asks you what is life coaching, how would you respond? And this is the response you would give is this. Um, and the American Society of Training and Development, they talked about they did a study on accountability and found that you have 65% chance of completing the goal if you commit to someone. And now with coaching, if you have, and then this other part, if you have a specific accountability
Mm-hmm.
appointment with a person you've committed to, you will increase your chance of success by 95%.
Right.
So just to walk you through that, so the researchers found having an idea is just 10%. You'll likely complete that goal. So you just got it in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But then you get to the point of, okay, consciously deciding that you will do it, actually do that thing that's in your head. That's 25%. You'll actually do it. And then deciding you will do it is the 40%. And then planning, actually going and planning it out yourself, that gets you to 50%. And then that 65%, that's committing to someone that you will do it. So you tell somebody, like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna actually go to the store, I'm gonna get some healthy food, and you telling that to somebody. I'm gonna get salad. That's 65% chance you will actually do it. And then having the next part is having a specific accountability appointment with someone you committed to, that boosted all the way up to 95%. And so that's the power of coaching. So that's what I'm getting to is like having these coaching sessions with your
Mm-hmm.
clients, with different men, whatever, they're having that accountability person that they're checking in with, and it's 95% chance they'll actually do those things. And that's the power of what we do as coaches. Um, but a common misconception is that you have all the answers. You know, that's a common
Right.
misconception, you know, but actually you are assuming that your client is the expert and that he or she will do the hard work. You know?
Gotcha.
But yeah, we coach by, asking those, we coach by asking questions. And that's what we'll talk through. You try to get those right questions. You stay curious. And we'll talk about that more, on week 2 as well, like different techniques. But the ultimate technique is being curious as a coach.
Right.
You're not trying to give them the answer. You're trying to get them to get to the answer, you know. Get into the root of the issues with our clients and asking questions help us get there. We try to dig in and get to the root. But you ask, like, looking through this, and you like, does the past matter? Yes, but we're focused on the future, as coaches.
Right.
So you'll see it, like, if you watch that pre video for this week, they talked about that. It's like how much coaches are focused on the future, where like therapists are, looking back in the past, all
Yep.
those type of things. All right, let's go to the next one. So what coaching is not. So coaches are not counselors or therapists who deal with a person's past or need for healing. What we talked about. Coaches are not mentors who practice succession training and getting clients to replicate the mentor. Coaches are not consultants who solve problems by providing expertise and formulas. Okay. Can it be combined? So that's a question many people have. So it can be combined as long as the coaching remains separate from the other methods. This could mean you do both, but on different days, or dividing the same session into two halves. So this is so that the client doesn't get confused about when you are actually coaching. And so we've had, client like that where the client was a therapist and a coach, you know, but they wouldn't do that in the same session. They separated out to having counseling one day and then doing the therapy on another session, another week, another day.
Gotcha.
And so, like I said, this helps with not confusing the client. Yeah, we're separating the two. All right. So the coaching industry. So these are characteristics that you'll see in the coaching industry as you're coaching. So the doesn't give advice. So these are characteristics of the coach. So it doesn't give advice, actively listens. And we'll talk, this is what all these weeks we'll go through all these different things. Uh, and these are different things you'll do as a coach. Doesn't give advice, actively listens, asks great questions, clarifies clients' goals, movement focus, cheerleads clients, challenges the client, accountability agents. And so you'll do all those things as a coach. All of them. You do all those. And then the type of coach. And so you'll figure out, definitely by week 10, you'll know what type of coach you're
Okay.
going to be. And you could be multiple, it could be multiple of these things as well. It won't have to be just one, but you'll see, what your coaching type will be. So life coach, business coach, wellness coach, financial coaching, career coaching, relationship coaching, leadership coaching, life purpose coaching. So tons of different type of coaches. And like I said, this certification right here, it helps with that biblical foundation as
Mm-hmm.
well. And then results. So fulfill lost dreams, accomplish goals, manage life changes. And you've done a lot of this in your training.
Yes,
Done a
sir.
lot in training. Yep. And so overcome old habits, create new habits, boost relationships, make better choices, form a strategy. So you never know, depending on what clients you get, what the vision that they're going to be shooting for, what goals they're going to be shooting for. It could be any of these things.
Okay.
But qualifications of a coach. So caring and empathetic, detail oriented, great listener, analytical thinker, good people skills, emotionally stable, willing to grow, willing to learn, all those different things. Okay, so now I'm going to read the coach's creed, and this will be part of your homework too. So you'll dive in, you'll look into that week 2 prep, and you'll find that coaching creed there as well.
Okay.
So I'll read it right now. So it's saying, please read our coaching creed that is included in this week's class notes prior to next week's class. These are professional standards that we hope you will honor and practice. And so the coaching creed says, I hold myself accountable to the highest level of integrity, honoring Jesus Christ individually and cooperatively in all associations. I will maintain complete confidentiality with my clients within the confines of the law. I will be clear with my clients about the nature of the coaching relationship, including structure, fees, refunds, expectations, and guarantees. I will never give a client's name to anyone for any purpose without express permission. I will give credit where credit is due for materials supplied by other sources. I will judiciously avoid conflicts of interest if any should arise. I shall, without delay, inform concerned parties of my position. I will represent myself honestly and clearly to my clients and coach only within my competency. I will actively pursue well-being, wholeness, and continual learning in my own life. I will refer a client to others if I am not within my competency or comfort for the sake of the client. I will honor my Christian values in my professional conduct, placing neither blame nor blemish on the name of Christ or coaching.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What does it mean,
Yeah,
coaches
state license.
listed as consultants?
Coaches listed as consultants. So that's just so you'll be listed as consultant in the I guess professionally. That's what it
Okay.
means.
Yeah,
Yeah, when you, like looking up like different job roles, it's usually consultant.
I
Yeah,
gotcha. Okay.
if you go on that route. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Can you read this for me?
Sure. If information alone could change people, everybody would be skinny, rich, and happy.
Yeah. What does that what does that mean to you?
Well, you could have all the information in the world, but if you don't act on it, nothing's going to happen. Like you can have the greatest diet book, but if you're not going to follow what's going on in it, all it is information.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. You actually need to move and take those steps, you know.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yep. And that goes into the telling myth as well. So the myth is if I tell people what to do, they will take my advice and take immediate action.
Yeah, we all have
That
kids, right?
is exactly. That is a myth. And then here go a question right here. How many books and sermons have you read or heard that you immediately started applying to your life? You know, we read all these different books, hear all these, different sermons, but
Right.
how do you actually go out and do, after just hearing it, you know? Fact, people respond to inner revelation more than outer suggestions from others. So,
I
and
agree.
just like you said, you brought up kids. So just think of the scenario, the teenager who's dating somebody and you don't like that person. And then you tell your child, you try to tell your child what to do. Like you don't like the boyfriend or girlfriend that they have, and they just go
Mhm.
more into they go more into it, more to run into that person that you don't like.
Yeah, they dig their heels
Right.
into. What do you mean? No,
Exactly.
no.
Yep. Yep. Like so in that situation, how can a parent ask questions to get them to a revolution? So just doing that scenario, what kind of questions would you ask?
Well, my 12-year-old, almost 13, who believes he's 30, let me give you some advice, Dad. Really, buddy? Not gonna happen. I actually on he's special needs, so he's very much direct. So you have with him, you have to give him food for thought, no matter what it is. Like if you want him to think something through. So for example,
Mhm.
I'm gonna give you the best example because it happened last weekend when he was here. I had no idea he didn't know how to tie his shoes. I had no clue.
Mhm.
Mom never said anything to me, nothing. So we're getting ready to go. I'm like, just put your sneakers on, let's go. And he's like looking at me like, Dad, and I'm like, buddy. I'm like, just put your shoes on. He's like, and I was like, what's wrong? And he's like, I don't know how to tie my shoes. I'm like, now mind you, my son is very much like me. He's a prankster. He loves to
Mhm.
joke and have a good time. And I'm sitting there, I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, we don't have time for this. We gotta go. Like, I got time. Let's go. And he's like, I seriously do not know how to tie my shoes. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay. So I was like, did mom show you? He's like, Dad, she showed me something with bunny ears, and I got lost when the bunny went down the hole. And I was like, are you
Ah.
serious? Are you serious? He's like, yes. So I literally had to sit there and I said, okay. I said, buddy, just so you know, I did this in 10th grade. I had to actually be blindfolded and teach somebody how to tie their shoes. And he's like, can you
Mhm.
teach me? So we literally sat there and talked him through it so he could understand the process. So with
Yeah.
him, you have to give him a process. Otherwise, he's not going to get there. You can't lead him to it because he
Mhm.
won't do it. But if you give him like specific steps, he'll do it.
Mhm.
So he had a friend who his name is Tyler, and he was actually my best friend's kid. And we don't talk anymore because the kid and a whole bunch of other stuff went down. But basically, his son was bullying my kid, and my son would
Mhm.
just go along with it. And I was just like, "What is wrong with you?" So I actually heard him one day. They were over here at the house, and my son was talking to him, and he's like, "Get off!" He's like, "Get off playing the game with your dad." He's like, "You're gonna play with me." And my son's like,
Mhm.
okay. And I said, give me the phone. Give me the phone. And I said, Tyler, put your father on the line now. And they get online and I sat there with them and I was like, your son, this is what he said. And he's like, he would never say that. And I was like, Scott, I've known you for 30 years. I said, this is what your kid said. And I said, it's unacceptable. I'm sorry. I'm not participating in this anymore. Noah didn't understand at that time why, but I broke it down for him and said, do you see what he's doing in his behavior, how it changes you? You turn into this really nasty little kid and you just get all
Mhm.
bent up and angry. I said, you know, people who care about you shouldn't be like that. People who are your friend or somebody that you're
Yeah.
with shouldn't be like that. They shouldn't be bullying you to do something. And that turned
Mhm.
into a whole other discussion about something with his mom and her boyfriend. And I was just like, whatever, not my business. But I told him, I said, that's not how it is. Like, that's not what you do. Like, if somebody you care about, and you have to, for him, you have to paint it out. You can't put like, bunny ears and say everything's great, because he's going to be like, I am so lost. You got to be like direct, but you just got to point him in that direction.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's going to go ping all over the place. So yeah, my mini
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's a
But yeah,
strange.
you'll see. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, and that scenario that you said, like you'll have clients like that where you got to kind of, you know, be more direct with them,
Mhm.
but you don't want to give them the answer, them to learn on your own, So
Oh, it's
it's yeah,
tough.
it
It's
it takes
tough line.
practice.
Yeah, it
It takes a
does.
little practice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's like, I mean, there are times you got to give yourself grace and be like, okay, it's taking a while for you to get to this conclusion. I'm gonna give you one
Mhm.
answer. Hey, I'm not gonna give you all the answers.
I'm gonna give
Yes.
you the answer so we get to
So
the
yeah,
next step.
definitely.
There we go. Here you go.
Exactly. Let's get some progress going.
There we go.
Yep. And then, so this quote right here. Can you read this one?
Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I will learn. Yep. I used to have that as my tagline on my email. Hmm.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
many
okay.
years ago when I worked at Disney, that was because I was very hands-on teaching. Like, when I
Mm,
was doing my classes, a lot of the other instructors, they would just like, do the slide switches and all. I'm like sitting there, I'm
mm.
involved, I'm in it. Um, when I taught college, there's a school called Full Sail in Orlando, Florida, and they teach audio, sound to picture, and that was my
Yep, I
specialty.
went there. I went
Did you
there.
really?
Yep.
Get out of here. Okay, I taught
Yeah,
from
yeah.
so from 2000 to about 2003. Yeah, yeah, I did audio post production.
Okay.
Where'd you go for?
I did business intelligence. So
Oh,
that was back in that was 2017.
oh, okay.
2017.
I
Yep.
got you. Okay, yeah. So I did that, and I was actually teaching on the campus in Winter Park, and my specialty was backgrounds. So how do you teach
Mm.
somebody how to do a background? And I had to sit there and I like really had to think about it. So like all these people would just go up and they just like give them examples and everything. And I literally took these people out and we went outside and we sat on a park bench. I said, okay, now watch what you're seeing. Like, what do you see in front of you? And they're like, oh, a car went by. Oh, brakes and this and that and all this other stuff. I said, okay, now close your ears off. Watch everything. What are you seeing? And they
Mm.
started screaming out the same thing and started writing it down. I said, when you don't hear
Mm.
anything and you're seeing it, you have to actually put it in the picture because people are expecting that. They're expecting that stupid little bird to chirp over here. They're expecting to hear that car screech
Mm.
that you just saw somebody take off on. And they're like, oh my God, that makes total sense. So, breaking down something like that where they had to be, you know, I said the backgrounds aren't the biggest thing in there, but they are the biggest thing because if it's not there and it's missing, you're going to notice. Just like you notice with the ears plugged in, you're watching a car screech out and you don't hear anything. You're just like, makes no sense. Your brain doesn't process it. So that's what, yeah. So something like that. And that was on my email tag every
That's
single time.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's exactly what it is. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right. The asking effect. So we help clients process their thinking to make more informed choices by asking questions. So coaching uses the ask, answer, discuss process to create clarity and vision. So what that is number one, you ask a strategic question, and so a strategic question is asked. So that question is put out there, and then next, a thoughtful answer is given, by the client, and then the answer is briefly discussed. And then from there, another question is then asked, and another until clarity is achieved. So this is what you'll do throughout your sessions. You'll be asking questions until they get to the actual, real answer. So they'll give you an answer, but he's like, usually real answer, the answer isn't the true answer that's going to help them and that we need to get to. So that's why you do this.
Gotcha.
And that's basically, coaching and at basic. So this breakthrough coaching model right here, this you'll see this the throughout the weeks, throughout our
Okay.
classes. And so you'll have this this is something you'll have in your back pocket to know, like, okay, your roadmap to see where you are with coaching in the process. So number one is awareness. So where is the client right now? Um, Assemble the real story needed to gain valuable insight and perspective. So this part can take time. Uh, the first thing revealed most likely is not the real place the client is. So like we talked about, you keep asking those questions,
Mm-hmm.
and you get to that real spot where the client is. And then you get to the vision. So what is the specific goal that you're shooting for with this client? So being specifically define client goals, including the mission, meaning, and desired outcome. So this is a faith building stage right here. So what's good of fearing man, but this stage is that building faith right here and getting them out of thinking small, think big, get to that, like, what's that big vision that you're shooting for?
Mm-hmm.
And then obstacles. So once they're thinking about those big vision, and goals, obstacles gonna pop up in their head as well. So
Right.
what is standing in the client's way? Are naming those different things.
Mm-hmm.
So expose and clearly define the inner and outer obstacles that block client's progress. So there's mindset issues happening right here and things out of the client's control as well. So, like, weather or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the big things are those mindset issues. So working through those, because you'll get to, after obstacles, you get to the support. So, okay, how can we support? Where do you have support at to get through these obstacles? So what can support the client's success? So these are the things that the client needs to add or remove in order to help with their goals.
Gotcha.
So the part where we're letting the client know, like, God is unlimited, and uh we help guys see this. So clients see this. And then but help the client go and find the support God has and will provide. That's the big thing. It's just getting to that point of just letting them know, like, God is unlimited and there's help that he put around you. And then number 5 is a strategy. How's
Mm-hmm.
the client getting there? A detailed game plan that can be adjusted with gain clarity as the process progresses. So God has given you some gifts, and you align with this. Um, and then actions is the last part. So how is the client willing to take action? And so getting commitments for regular small steps that will incrementally move the client forward. So this is just small steps. So what small steps can this client, you know, commit to get into that goal? So commit to small steps that does not, trigger fears as well. So think about that too. We are getting these goals going. Uh, Fears are going to pop up. It's just like, okay, what can we do, and them not be fearful. You know,
So
not have that fear
when we're
pop up.
going through this, are we taking notes? Or are we like doing it on audio, or like is there like a note
Yeah,
process or something of that sort? Like a note taking process?
yeah, it'll take. So you'll figure out your process, but yeah, definitely take notes in some type of way. I will be, yeah, it's a note, a notepad is usually the way. Have a little notepad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're on Zoom like this, it could be a little in notes on your computer, like in Word or Notepad, whatever. You could do that as well. But yes, notes are constantly being taken, while you're talking to your client, to that person.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, we'll go through this breakthrough model week after week. We're gonna bring up this slide and talk through it. And the thing is, you may not always go one through 6. There may be a time you may stay on one of these, like just a vision for your whole coaching session. So you may not hit all these all in one session.
Okay.
So one session may be dedicated to one area or two areas, or I mean, you may hit all three, but at least at the very least, and we'll talk about that too, you want to end with some action steps, for that client. So if you're doing, a vision, you at least get to, some action steps. You're doing support, get some action steps at the end. At least doing that. But this helps you keep track of, where you are, in the coaching process and what's going on. Simply like, okay, where am I coaching right now? Like when you're talking to the client.
I got you.
So you won't get lost. You stay on track yourself as a coach.
Gotcha.
All right. So difficult client versus ideal client. So who do you want to work with?
Who would I
So
normally? Probably the difficult client. Just
yeah. So the thing is, so reading through this, so client obvious dysfunctions or addictions. So these are you just gotta watch out for.
Mhm.
You have a difficult client like that. So if there's a certain, addiction that they have, then it's something where you have to refer them over to, a therapist, refer them over to getting some help in some type of way with that addiction. Because, this coaching it's not for that. It's not for that to help with that. Because it's like they'll just, keep on going back to it. Doesn't complete their assignments. So this is what you gotta watch out for. If it's like, 3, 4 weeks and the client isn't, those assignments, I watch out for that. Emotional baggage and depression. And then you have moral, doctrinal differences with the coach. And then a judger mindset thinks they know it all. And so, but the doctrinal differences is just like, you're a biblical coach. And so if you have an atheist that pops up in the class, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard for them unless they're looking and exploring, and they're trying to get and learn about, okay, what is this Jesus thing you know
right.
you're talking about. And so if they're willing to learn and transform and change those type of things, um but yeah, and then the judger mindset thinks they know it all. That uh this having the mindset of like, you're not too old to learn something new, and to keep growing. And
Right.
that's the big thing. Because you see that in a lot of the older clients where they're just, stuck in the mindset of like, oh, I've experienced this, I've been through it all. You know, but they're just stuck there. You can't get them out. It's like, oh, maybe I'm not the right person to be coaching you. Ideal client, compatible with their coach's style, functional and compatible with change, gives open and honest answers, understands coaching and upholds their end, a big mindset, is open to learning. Um, and what we have difficult client here, and this is just talking about if this continues week over week over week, and there's no change happening.
Right.
And so that's where you have to quickly identify this is going on, and just be like, hey, maybe I'm not the coach for you, because it's like we're not seeing any progress. You got to have that hard conversation, and just letting them know, because you want them, you want to get them to help. If you're not called to them, you know it's not, and they're not progressing. You just got to send them over to somebody that hopefully can, because you have times like that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, how do you feel nervous about that? You feel nervous about working with a difficult client?
No. I usually get the hard ones. Like even at work, I don't know. I get the calls that nobody else would ever get. Um, and then dealing with, I would say the most difficult I've had to deal with was um, like an unattended death or a suicide, like from a kid, and dealing with the parents that just couldn't handle
Yeah,
it. You know, so that's,
yeah,
I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I'm able to talk to them and calm them down enough to where we can function, and have a conversation to the point where we're talking. I don't know why. It's the craziest thing. my friend was even saying, he's like, I don't know how you do it, but he's like, you go in these situations that most people would just run from, and you're just like, hey, let's sit down, and you're fine. So I ideal clients, if I get those, that'll be probably few and far between versus the difficult clients.
Got you. Got you.
It's how it rolls sometimes.
Yep. So so you're in a whole different. So that's rare. That's rare to be in that ballpark of being comfortable. With the difficult clients. So that's good that you are that way, that you have had that experience, everything as well. So yeah, that's good, man. That's awesome.
Sometimes it's good. Sometimes you would just like it to go a little bit smoother.
But I'm saying it's needed. It's good because it's needed. It's needed.
Yes,
It's needed where you could be calm in those situations and not be flustered.
Right.
And so that's good to have somebody that's stable and could clearly let them know what direction where they need help at, and clearly let them know how to progress forward from where they are in their confused and crazy state or whatever. You're that calm person that can be like, okay, this is what you need to do. This, you could be calm and talk to them. So that's awesome. Right. So we are at the end. Week 1 is pretty quick. Yeah. So these are questions that will be on the test. So go ahead if you need to screenshot it. And these are just going through this week 1. So what is coaching? How does it differ from counseling and therapy? How does Christian coaching differ from secular coaching? What does it mean to coach in the gap from Colin's book?
Screenshot of
those
that.
Are things yeah. So definitely go back through, during this week as well, and just get those answers down to these questions, just so you'll have it and you'll know it by the time we reach, in week 10. We'll get there.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'll read 7 chapters.
And then homework. Awesome. So yeah, homework before week 2. So please read Coach's Creed. So that Coach's Creed I read to you, you'll just go through that, read it again for yourself. It'll sink in a little bit more what that coaching creed is. Read chapters 6 and 7. Like you said, you'll probably dive in, and at least you could actually start out reading 6 and 7. You do it that way, and it's just so like you'll have that already covered. Whatever works for you. Whatever works for you, though.
Okay.
But yeah, just reading that chapter 6 and 7 of the Christian coaching book, Dr. Gary Collins, and then log in to the student portal, grab the coaching traits worksheet. So there's a coaching traits worksheet inside that prep for week 2. So doing that.
Okay.
All right. But how you feeling? How you feeling after this week 1? You just got done with week 1.
Yeah. Good.
Awesome.
I'm sure I'll have more questions, next week when I read the book and catch up and all that kind of stuff. And then we can go over that as well. So yeah.
Sounds good. And like I said, you may have another classmate on here, Tony. So we'll see. Hopefully he joins in.
Okay.
But he may sign up by Friday.
I gotcha.
I gave him the link for the day. But he got stuck at work today.
Gotcha.
But all right, John.
All right, sir. Appreciate it.
Let me stop recording.